Narcissism is often described as arrogance or simple self-absorption, but sometimes a darker pattern begins to emerge, especially in those who lean toward more malignant traits. These aren't just people looking for admiration, they're looking for dominance, and often they pursue it by targeting people they see as more vulnerable, less powerful, or somehow beneath them. This isn't always careless cruelty. It can become a strategy, a way to reinforce a fragile sense of superiority while extracting what they need: control, resources, isolation, and sometimes the twisted satisfaction of watching someone else suffer. At their core, many narcissistic individuals are battling something quiet, an internal inadequacy that's masked by grandiosity. So instead of confronting their own perceived weakness, they seek out situations where they can feel unquestionably powerful. Targets who seem easier to dominate because they're kind, empathetic, financially strained, emotionally open, or just going through a hard time, offer low-risk opportunities for control. It's a power imbalance they create and then exploit. By choosing someone they believe won't push back, they avoid real challenges that might expose their own vulnerability. And the thrill isn't just in winning, it's in the confirmation that they are above you. Resources are another target, because resources represent independence, and independence threatens control. Financial exploitation can show up quietly: shared accounts you didn't mean to share, loans that are never repaid, career opportunities that somehow disappear. Guilt becomes currency, dependence becomes strategy, because when you're strained, when you're uncertain, when leaving feels impossible, you're easier to manage. The instability becomes another layer of control. And then there's your inner circle: friends, family, colleagues, people who once helped you stay grounded. They may be turned against you through triangulation, rumors, half-truths, carefully framed stories. Sometimes the narcissistic individual becomes the victim in the very situation they created. The goal is isolation, because once you're cut off from outside perspective, their version of reality has more room to grow. And with fewer voices to challenge it, you're more vulnerable to blame, confusion, and doubt. Not every narcissistic individual is openly cruel, but some derive satisfaction from distress. Your frustration, your confusion, your humiliation, these reactions become proof of their influence. Look what I can make you feel. They provoke conflict just to watch it unfold, withhold support when you're already struggling, escalate arguments to prolong strain. Without empathy, your pain doesn't register as tragedy. It registers as validation. Breaking free: what I had to do. If any of this sounds familiar, it's important to understand something early on. This behavior reflects dysfunction, not your worth. Kindness, openness, patience, trust, these aren't weaknesses, they're human strengths, and they're often exploited because they matter. For me, breaking free didn't start with proving anything to anyone else. It started with choosing myself. That meant learning new skills, emotional ones, practical ones, and seeking experiences that helped me rebuild confidence outside of the relationship. It meant noticing when I was people-pleasing out of fear, and interrupting that pattern when manipulation showed up. Sometimes it meant saying less, sometimes stepping back, sometimes not explaining myself at all. I had to protect my resources, reconnect with people I trusted, set boundaries, even when doing so felt uncomfortable. But most importantly, I had to notice my own patterns, my blind spots, my need for approval, the ways I tolerated behavior that kept me small. Understanding these dynamics shifted the story I was telling myself. From, "What's wrong with me?" to, "This is a pattern I can recognize and respond to differently." And that shift made it possible to reclaim something I didn't realize I had slowly handed over: autonomy.